Hello everybody and welcome to this video where I'll show you how to firstly locate data, and secondly I will show you how to import various data types. So in terms of the first one, locating data, you might not be aware of this, but the internet is full with open public data sets, and I'm just going to show you three of them here. I'm going to focus on the UN dataset, but we're also going to look at the Eurostat database, which you can see here, and we're also going to look at the Irish government's open public dataset. So to start off, we're going to look at the UN dataset, and you can see up here the web address is data.un.org. And you know, the United Nations, it's a platform which allows its 193 member states to come together and collaborate on challenges and resolutions in order that countries can help each other out on specific issues. So at the moment, one of the big ones is, you know, environmental issues and climate change and so on. The fantastic thing about the UN is that they have this separate URL called data.un.org, which contains statistics for the world at large, but also for individual countries. So when you go onto the main landing page, what you will be presented here is with the search engine. You will also see three categories down here. So this is a category here which shows you various information from around the world for each country in terms of population, national accounts, education, labor markets, price and production indices, international merchandise trades, energy, and so on. So if we click into the population, what this will present us with is an overview of the various population changes for various countries in the year 2005, 2010, 2015 and 2018. It'll show us the total population, which is here, and it'll show us the breakup of males to females in that population. So if we do Central F, we can find Ireland, and we can see the population has changed in 2005 for 4.21 million, right up to 2018, 4.8 million. So if we click back here, not only can we download that as PDF, but we can also download it as a CSV file. Now that's a comma separated value, and this is one of the data types that we can import into Excel if we should do so. So if we were to click this, you can see the file has downloaded here. If I click on it, because it's a CSV file or a comma separated value file, all of a sudden it will give me the various tables that we just seen in PDF form. And if we go down along through the data set, we can see here it'll give me for continents, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Africa, and I can go all the way down. If we press Central F again, let's find Ireland. Okay, it's not letting me find it here, so if we click on here, it's not working for some reason. But if we click all the way down here, click up a bit, what we will do here is we'll come to Ireland, and here we go, and it'll show me the population changes across from 2005 right up all the way to 2018 for various values. So we'll click this down now because we're not really concerned with looking at Excel files yet. So if we see the tables here, what this will do is it will provide information on the specific country. So if we click into Ireland, give us various information in terms of the general information, major economic indicators, okay, major trading partners. So we can see here, you know, the United Kingdom is probably based in 2016, is our second major export partner, and our first major import partner is, the United Kingdom. So we're seeing Brexit coming around the corner, so we can see why people are really concerned about that. So if we click back here again, so the first two categories that this UN data portal has showed us is that, the world population as a whole, individual countries, and you can even go down into the continents, which is here in the last table. So if we want to use the search engine above, we can, you can see it there. They have 32 databases and they have 60 million records. So if we just type in the word climate, press search, okay, we'll click back here. So obviously they don't have a category which is under climate, but what they have is, greenhouse gas emissions, CO2. So if we click CO2, carbon dioxide, it'll give us various records in terms of the databases that they have for greenhouse emissions, nitrous oxides, carbon dioxides, and so on. Okay, so we go back again to our main search engine. Okay, so if let's say we were interested in finding data about some other category, let's say on employment. Let's press search. So we can see various records here in Datasets. So you can see here there's 38,949 records here in the unemployment. And all of a sudden it'll bring us up various statistics for the unemployment rates and registered unemployed across various countries. Let's say we were only interested in finding out those rates for Ireland. Well, what we can do is we can apply a filter. If we see find Ireland here we go. And let's say we were interested in finding out the rates back in 2008. We can apply the filter, and all of a sudden we can see that the total men who were unemployed in 2008 were 78,122. Okay. Now let's say we want to download this file. Well, once again, it'll give us an option, and we can download it as a structured data source, as a comma value separated value source, so we can do it as a comma or a semicolon and so on. So if we go back to the search engine, for your own benefit, probably rather than going into the the search category to look for issues like, or search terms like climate or unemployment, click onto Data Marts. And what this will do is provide an overview of all the databases and data sources that the UN have across various topics. So if you click into sources here, you see the topics. So let's say you were interested in finding out the crime rates. Okay. And the international homicide and number of rate per 100,000 population across the world. Let's say we want to look in at that data. Okay. So basically we can see all the data sources here for the various countries. So if you're looking at the various data sets, you can see them all here spread out. But if you're looking for various topics of items that you are interested in, you can click on the plus sign and delve deeper. Okay, so if we go back to topics, let's say I'm interested in crime, I will click the plus sign here and I'll look at the homicide statistics for 2012 across the various countries. If you click the little magnifying glass here, it will give you a preview. It'll show you the various performance indicators or tables that will be contained within your data set. So we see the country here is one, the year is here, the count of crimes committed, the homicide rate in these countries, the source of the information, and the source type. So we click it here. Yes, we're interested in viewing that data. As I said here, this is a portal that allowed you to interactively through their API, their application program interface, to see the information without having to download it. But let's say we were interested in downloading it. So for the purpose of our second video, which will be looking at how to import a data file, what you can do is you can download a comma data file, which is an Excel file. This is where you download the data with values separated by a comma. So basically, when you click onto this, Excel will open it automatically. But oftentimes we will come along text files. Okay, there won't be Excel files. Someone will just put a large dump of data up onto a database, and they won't clean it up, or they won't have it separated by a comma. So it will be a .txt file. So for the purposes of this video, I want you to download this file here. And when you click on it, it will download as a zip. When you unzip it, you will get a text file. Okay, so that is the first database that we looked at, the UN data. It's a fantastic resource. So for the purposes of your assignment or just for playing around with various data sources, it really is a good repository. Now, much closer to the home, we have the data.gov.ie. So it's Ireland's own open data portal. And it promotes innovation and transparency through the publication of Irish public sector datasets in open, free and reusable formats. You can click here to explore datasets, but before you go clicking to that, you can see here, like the UN dataset, it contains various categories. Okay, so various categories of data sets. So let's say we're interested in education and sport. Okay, so what you see here on the left hand side, you have categories. There's 178 data sets here, data records. You can see the APIs, those are application program interfaces. What I really love about this website is that actually you can filter down in the resource format. And if you click here, this is all about the formatting of the data. So you can see here there are comma separated values. So these are your traditional Excel files. And there's also other formats such as, let's click on PX. You know, this is used to store cubic data, multiple tables and so on. So if we click back here, let's say we're only interested in looking at data sets which are ready to go for us, so CSV files. Okay, so we can see here the results that come back. You know, the Wexford Libraries database, the school enrollments, the list of primary schools for the academic year, the Sports Capital Programme, cinemas in the Fingal County Council and so on. And what's also interesting, on the left hand side you can see the various bodies that have published the data. So if you're interested in the Department of Transport, you can see sports capital allocations for 2000 to 2016. Okay, so this is all about developing sports and physical recreation centres throughout the country. So if we were interested in, I don't know, perhaps for your assignment, looking in to various degrees of of which counties have been allocated or which resources have been allocated across countries, this would be a fantastic resource. We can see here it's had 1,190 views and it's been given a 3-starring out of 5-star rating. So if we click into here, it provides further details about this data set. If we click down here, it gives us an actual preview of what we will be downloading, which is fantastic. Okay, so we can see here we have county that's been awarded the allocation, the organization within the county that's been awarded the funding, the scheme of the year it was given in, and the amount allocated. Okay, and if we want to download that, all we have to do is download the CSV, which is a comma separated value, and click download. So it'll take a bit of a while to do so. Okay, so that took a few seconds to download. It's downloaded onto my hard drive, and when I click open, be able to see the various details and various indicators for this data file. Okay, we'll go down through. We can see the various clubs in and around the country that have been awarded sports allocation funds. So we'll click X. And the great thing about it, if you click up here in Dataset Actions, if there's something wrong, you can contact the dataset owner. You can see showcases with this dataset, and you can also see the dataset history. And this will bring you to any instances of updates or to the dataset or revisions to the dataset and so on. Okay, so that's the data.gov.ie, really good repository of data sources that you can actually download to investigate further. And once again, in the data source preview, you can even press download and the download will begin automatically. Okay, for our final data set resource, if you were really interested in European statistics, the ec.europa.eu/Eurostat/data/database is a really good resource to investigate statistics, and you can browse statistics by theme. So once again, we see categories in terms of the economy and finance, population and social conditions, general and regional statistics, and so on. But if we go back in here and we check out the databases, we can see the databases once again under various themes. So let's say we were interested in industry, trade and services. Let's say we were interested in construction. See, we were interested in the amount of building permits issued. What we could do is you can click on the Data Explorer, and this will bring up a screen which explores the data set that you're going to download. So it shows the various countries and the various months within those countries in terms of the business permits issued and the number of dwellings and so on. If we wanted to download this data set, we would click the following button. You can see here we can download in XLS formats or separated value, which is our Excel format. So we are interested in downloading this, so we would click download. Because it is a big file, it would download as a zip file, and we would have to unzip it here. Okay, for those of you interested in that, European statistics, this is really a fantastic resource. Okay, for the last resource, we're going to look at dataset public searches that you can do. Now, Google is a pretty popular search platform for any type of files in terms of websites, images, news items. But if you go to the following address at the top, www.google.com/public data/directory, it will bring you to its own public dataset resource. And if you see here, it shows you various data sets such as the World Bank Development Indicators, Human Development Indicators, Global Competitive Reports, the World Trade Organization, Information Communication Technology Statistics Database, and so on. And you can keep going on, and eventually it'll bring you to the UN data source, it'll bring you to Eurostat, the Irish government one, and so on. But there's also a search engine which is very handy up at the top. So let's say, for instance, we're interested in broadband. Okay, it will bring us broadband, and what's turned up is 16 data providers which provide data sets or information on broadband. So we can see the first one is here is Eurostat. We saw Eurostat, so that have statistics for European broadband penetration rate. We can also see the second one provided by the World Economic Forum. We'll go with this one, which provides statistics on the broadband internet subscriptions per 100 population. So the great thing about this public data that that's provided by Google, it has an embedded visualization tool. So all of a sudden you're given a visualization. Okay, we can see from the following visualization, we can see the broadband internet subscriptions per 100 population. On the left hand side, it's the percentage penetration rate. We can see here it's analyzing data from 2006 right up to 2011. And if you see on the left hand side, we can do various filters. So at the moment it has all the countries marked. So if we were interested in to see, on the global scale, how does Algeria compare? This is the average here. So the average line here, all countries average is kind of 9.92%. I'm assuming, given that it's 2019, that's increased substantially. But we'll go on these statistics for the minute. So let's just click Albania. So Albania is well below the average. Okay, you can see here. Now Ireland, a lot of people do complain about our broadband penetration. So let's see what it was like back in 2011. Okay, so as we can see here, and back in 2011, Ireland was above the global broadband penetration at 22.82%. Okay, so we can keep filtering and looking at various countries and so on. Now, the great thing about the top here is you can change the various charts. So you can have a bar chart, you can have a pie chart, you can have a scatter plot. Okay, and the great thing about these, they're dynamic, so you can actually see the regions. So let's say we picked Argentina. It will filter into Argentina, and we can see the various how the penetration rate had increased or decreased throughout that time period of 2006 to 2011. Now, if we're interested in downloading this data set, let's say for the purposes of experimenting with the data, what you would do here is click the hyperlink. Now, the problem with this is I've tried a few of them, and what it does is it'll bring you to a landing page, which is the World Economic Forum landing page. And what in that scenario, if it doesn't bring you to the data set, what you would have to do is you would have to click in to the search engine and actually filter for that specific data set, so you would be able to download it. Okay, so that's that video. This is this video completed, and what we looked at is various. Number one, we looked at the UN data. We looked at the Irish government data.gov.ie, and we looked at Eurostat. We looked at these various websites that are set up where you can access data. They're called open datasets. Okay, and finally we looked at a search engine where we can actually visualize and manipulate the data, but also download the data. And this was our Google public data directory. Okay, in the next video I'm going to show you how to import a data set that you have downloaded. And in this case we're going to import the crime rate data that we downloaded as a text file.